Welcome back everyone, my name is Logan and this is West Desert Wheeler. Today we are going to be taking a look at the new Vanquish products release, the VRD Stance RTR. So real quick, let's break down what that is. The VRD is the chassis on this truck. The Stance is the body style. So in the future, you may see other variations of bodies on the VRD, but at its core, this is the Vanquish VRD truck. This may be the most performance-focused RTR I've ever seen released. This truck is coming at you with portals, a flat rail stamped aluminum chassis, and plenty of overdrive to boot. We've also got some awesome dual stage foams, weights already installed in the front end with a forward and low mounted motor in the transmission. Let's cover some of these details of what makes this VRD so good right out of the box. So starting from the outside, we see this Stance body here. This has very high clearance so that you can get into some difficult to approach obstacles and not worry about getting into your bodywork. It's going to clear and get your way through some difficult obstacles, no doubt. This one is in their lime green variant, and they also have a silver combo that looks quite good with the orange, red, and black stripes on that one. We've also got some large VXT2 tires from Vanquish. Now these are available from Vanquish as an aftermarket part, as an upgrade for other trucks, and it comes standard on this RTR. This compound on these is very soft and will get you tons of traction, but they didn't stop there. What's really cool about these, and this is the first time I've seen this on an RTR, is you've got dual stage foams inside of these wheels and tires. Now, dual stage foams, you've got a more dense inner foam that is closed cell, and then towards the outside of the tread, you have open cell foam, which is more soft and compliant. So when you get your truck on a side hill, your sidewall is not going to roll underneath the truck, allowing the car to roll over or have less steering precision. It's going to be better performance to have that dual stage foam in there, and they're including that right out of the box. That's a huge bonus in my books, and I really like that detail. Now for the wheels on this wheel and tire combo, we've got these KMC licensed wheels, and these are a beadlock plastic wheel. Now Vanquish offers tons of awesome aluminum upgrade wheels, so if you find something that's more your style, go ahead and grab a set of those. I prefer to have aluminum beadlock wheels on the truck, just for a little added weight down low on each corner, add a little style as well, but the fact that these are beadlocks and you can change out the tires and the foams if you choose to do so is awesome that you can do that right out of the box and that they're not glued on. Glue on wheels and tires are a bit of a pain to mess with, so I'm glad to see that these are true beadlocks. Now the axles this truck is riding on are the Vanquish F10 portal axles. These have been available through the Vanquish Phoenix, and I have used them on a couple of custom builds as well as used them on the Phoenix truck. These are very strong and durable, very high clearance, and you get awesome steering angle on this truck. We're going to talk more about this RTR in specific, but the endpoints on my controller were set really well to where the tie rod turns all the way until it touches the pumpkin of this axle, basically as far as it can steer. So the fact that they've got the endpoints set correctly right out of the box, huge thumbs up Vanquish. I like that I'm getting full steering capability immediately. That's going to help me outperform the competition. All right guys, let's go ahead and pop the top of this Vanquish Stance body, get this out of our way, and we'll take a closer look at this chassis design. So this is the VRD chassis. This will be the same chassis design as the VRD carbon kit, but these chassis rails are aluminum and no longer carbon. Obviously, this is going to be for a cost difference, so to get everything in here at a better price, they decided to go with aluminum. Looking more into the drivetrain on this truck, we've got our Vanquish VFD transmission, which puts the motor forward and low. So the transmission creates 6% overdrive from the transmission itself. Then we're going to get additional overdrive through the portal gearing on this truck, giving a 17% overdrive through the front portals in addition to the 6% overdrive coming from the transmission, for a total overdrive percentage of 24%, which personally I like that mid 20% up to the 30% range. The VRD carbon kit has machined metal gears in the transmission and creates even more overdrive coming from the transmission. That truck comes out around 39%, which in my opinion is quite a lot. I'd probably prefer to have it set up right around this 24% range. The electronics kit included with the RTR are going to be the VE1 ESC. I think that's a rebranded like Hobbywing 1060, if I'm not mistaken. We've got our VR1 receiver and the Vanquish VR1 radio there. We've also got a VM-1 Vanquish Products brushed motor in there, and we've got our waterproof Metal Gear servo. So this will create a few 100 ounce-inches of torque. We do have a metal servo horn included, and as I mentioned, you're getting full steering throw with that controller and this servo right out of the box, so you're getting lots of steering angle. In addition, with the overdrive, this truck should spin right around in some really tight circles. So we've also got some metal sliders here that fit that stance body very well, and they also include a couple Velcro straps to run batteries on your sliders. That's where I choose to run mine even on my custom builds, so I do like running my battery right here. The sliders on these trucks are mounted a little bit higher up on the side of the chassis, so you do get quite a lot of clearance out there on the rocks. I mean, you got to run into a 5-inch rock to even touch that thing, so you got plenty of clearance to navigate through some treacherous terrain. The cross members we're seeing in here are the standard injection molded cross members that we found in the VRD carbon kit. I'm a big fan of that kit, so I'm real happy to see that. We've also got S8E oil-filled aluminum 90mm shocks. Vanquish also has option parts for those as well if you want to dress them up with a little bit of aluminum and add some color to that as well. One of the big changes we see from the VRD carbon kit is actually in the link kit. So the lower links on this truck are a smaller diameter, again to keep costs down for the RTR. The upper links do look to be the same, as well as the tie rod and the drag link as the VRD carbon, but the VRD carbon has the larger lower link diameter. Now, personally, I like to have the larger lower link diameter, but I understand why they're here on this truck. While we've got the truck upside down, take a look at that nice smooth belly, this extension forward on that VFD. That's going to keep the rock sliding along on the belly of this truck. Vanquish has always been really good at designing great smooth skid plates. As far as the front suspension is concerned, we do have a servo on axle, which means that we go with a 4-link front suspension. So lots of articulation there, no binding, and simplifies things, keeping the weight down on the axle. I really like this if you're into the Sorca side of competition where you want a chassis mounted servo versus axle mounted servo. Those will be available from Vanquish. One more small detail is this rear cross member with the bumper built in can actually be flipped, and it is offset. So currently it droops down. You can flip this over and have it come up to add a little more clearance. Now originally when I built my VRD carbon, I put this up and it did not fit with my body very well. I flipped it over, I've had no issues with clearance, but it does fit nice and snug to this stance body that they designed around this chassis. Now this Vanquish Products transmitter right here is a 4-channel transmitter. So we've got channels 1 and 2 for throttle and steering. We've also got channel 4 on a 3-position switch here, and then we've got channel 3 right up on top as a push button on off setup. Now the channel 4 will make a perfect button for a winch as it has a neutral, a forward and a back position, so that works out really well. I also like these transmitters because you can set endpoints on this, which means you can change how far your steering actually throws, and it's pretty easy. The included instructions in the RTR box will walk you through how to do that very quickly, and I'm a big fan of trucks where I can tune and adjust things like that. For an RTR controller, this is probably one of the best on the market. The size is good, and it's a little tricky for me to drive one-handed. You may need a thumb extension on there, but overall, nice and lightweight, ergonomic, works great, and you can tune your truck to its full potential with this transmitter. One thing to note is that you can tune and adjust your shock positions on the shock towers up here. You can move them up, forward and back, lay your rear shocks down more if you choose to do so. We've also got some link tuning options built into the chassis as well, so you can tune your anti-squat level on the front and rear end of this truck. Well guys, that pretty well covers the overview of the truck itself. It's time to get it out on some rocks and see how competent it is out there on the hard lines. I have real high hopes for this truck, and I think it will do very well, particularly for an RTR. Let's go hit the red rocks and see how she does. All right guys, here we are. I decided to go out to the rocks and throw down some gates, being that this is a performance-based truck.
Lots of clearance, big tires, heavy articulation, servo on axle. This thing is the color of a cone, so it should be able to go out and dodge some cones. So I threw down 10 gates. I set myself a 6-minute timer, but one of these gates ended up being impassable. We will see that here in a minute. So I ended up just giving it a nudge up the ledge and kind of throwing the time limit out the window. But take a look at this, already just cruising through some very difficult gates. Like this one, you got a ledge on the bottom, and then when your rear tires hit that ledge, your front tires are still climbing up an incline. So we're seeing lots of things at play here. We got the forward weight bias with those front portal alloy covers. That's something I forgot to mention in that review. This thing has added on portal cover weights right out of the box, RTR, which is pretty damn awesome. That's great value right there. The dual stage foam's working great, as we will see more examples of here in a minute. Right here, we're gonna test out the servo. I did not get myself lined up very well, so I'm moving my servo right and left as far as I can and as quick as I can to help shift the nose of the truck over so that I didn't have to take a reverse. Then we're gonna side hill through this one. Those VXT2 tires providing plenty of traction out here on the sandstone. It's a very soft compound. It wears out fairly quickly on the highly abrasive rock that I drive on, but it gives you lots of traction. So it's give and take, right? I would rather have a set of tires wear out because they're too soft than have a set of tires never break in because they're too firm. On this gate, I was really hoping to show off the steering angle and overdrive on this truck, but with my setup and the way it dropped in and then angled away from the gate, staying very planted and predictable there, you could see that that rear tire went in the air. I never felt uncomfortable like it wouldn't, like it was going to roll. But as I try and make this turn, I wanted to smoothly go down that, turn left, and drive through these two gates, but ended up giving myself not quite enough room for that particular obstacle and setup, taking another big drop right there, so I had to take a reverse to do it. But not too bad, still lots of steering angle and overdrive to help carry you through the tight corners. I did notice through this run that this truck is turning slightly better to the right than it is to the left. Now that can be fixed with the endpoints. I did not touch them out of the box. I wanted to go run this exactly RTR. The battery pack I'm using is a 1400 milliamp Genzace 3S battery pack mounted on the slider. Let's see here, that would be the passenger side slider if you really want to know that detail. This is the gate that ended up being impassable, a big off-camber ledge, and ended up rolling off that. I tried that over and over, it didn't work out, so I set the truck up on top of the ledge and continued on with our course. This one, you're going to drop downhill, do a U-turn, and make a climb up on the gate. So a great example of the overdrive in this truck, as well as the dual stage foams stopping the tires from rolling over on the side hill. Doing a great job for steering accuracy. Now we're setting ourselves up for a real drop into some real jagged terrain, and we've got to be able to trust our steering. We've got to be able to trust our weight balance. You don't want your truck too forward weight bias, otherwise it won't work. Got a battery finishing up on the charger there. And as we make our way through this gate, these dual stage foams just really proving their worth through here. The servo doing a pretty good job there. It's pretty slow. It's nothing to blow your mind. It will get you down the trail for a little while. I would probably recommend picking up a reefs along the way. Check out how close we got to that gate, but luckily those VXT2s held on quite well. Just about touched our slider there, which is actually kind of hard to do, but check out the angle on this truck. The rear axle twisted way up, articulated, leaned way over on the side hill, and this is a big drop you don't want to fall off of. Super stable, drove right through it, very predictable and stable. This truck's track width is a little bit narrow with these wheels, and these tires are tall. I mean, truthfully, Vanquish, this is a 5-inch tire, if not bigger. So if you get, and there's battery number 2, if you get some 4.75s and compare them to these things seem like monster truck tires. So if you're gonna run in class 2, you may want to double check that these tires are legal because these are not a 4.75 measured height. So check with your local clubs there. Working our way up into gate 10, just squeezed past gate 10. Luckily those tires held on, and just waiting for that overdrive to pull us up and over. Working our way here, I mean, just looking for traction, working our way left and right. We've got a big ledge on that right rear. Finally get the fronts to pull up, navigate through the obstacles, and say thanks to Sydney for spotting us through. So guys, in summary, this truck is an excellent performing RTR. Currently, if you were to come up to me and ask, hey, I'm looking for a performance-based RTR, where should I go? This is the answer. I don't know of any other truck RTR that would really even come close with this. There are some kits that you can build that would do very well, and the VRD Carbon kit is one of those that I would rank in there. But for an RTR that can handle difficult terrain, this is how I would set a course for my own Class 2 truck, and then I went and ran a untuned, unchanged RTR with its factory controller, motor, ESC, and servo, and it got through it. So very planted, predictable, fun. This thing is performance-based. I really, really like it. Huge thumbs up to Vanquish on this one. I really think they nailed it. And this is what I do. I like performance-based competition trucks, 1/10 scale, you know, throw me a buggy, throw me a Class 2 style truck, and that's what I am all about, and that's what this truck is all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review here of the Vanquish VRD Stance RTR. Oh, and I should note on the box, it is noted this is the portal equipped version. Currently, this is the only truck that has been released from Vanquish, but interestingly, we saw that note on the Vanquish Phoenix portal before the straight axle was released. So maybe a little hint there of what's coming down the line. So thank you very much to Vanquish for sending one my way. I greatly appreciate the support there, guys. Big fan of what they're doing over there. They make lots of great aftermarket parts, and their RTRs have been awesome as well lately. The Fordyce is a really fun truck, and this VRD Stance has been killer so far. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. My name is Logan from West Desert Wheeler. We will see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.